Hey man,
Hey mate, how you doing?
good man. It's been a interesting week. I think where our teams actually won do or die matches, even though still do or die for my team, which I think will play later today against the Lucknow Super Giants. And I think at the moment there's Punjab King versus Rajasthan Royals, and I see the score is 102 for 2 after 11.3 overs. So yeah, man. Yeah, well, what's your thoughts been on the week of cricket been so far? I mean, like, what's been the highlight for you?
Obviously, the highlight is RCB getting back to winning ways, one of them. But yeah, what has really impressed me this week is that middle table. It's really becoming congested now. There's so many teams that's in
Mm.
that run that, for those playoff spots. So if I look at the table now, and even watching that amazing game last night between Mumbai and Gujarat. I don't think anybody's
Mm.
qualified it. So if you look
Yeah,
at number one, number two, number three, there's going to be a lot of
yeah.
changes because I mean, if Lucknow win handsomely today, I mean like really handsomely, they on
Mm.
14 points. I see Gujarat is on
No,
16. Could
no,
overtake.
no. They'll
They
be
could
on,
overtake
no. They'll be on 16 if Lucknow win. Yeah, they'll definitely go overtake
yeah.
Gujarat. That's for
So,
sure. If
so
they win
Lucknow
today.
will be
Yeah.
on 15 points, but if they win handsomely,
Mm.
they could overtake Gujarat on run rate.
I
They
think
got to
they
win
will do that
really.
anyway. I think they'll anyway do overtake them on net run rate because the current net run rate is 0.397 Lucknow. So if they win today, it's obvious they'll be in number one position. So yeah, it is how it rolls.
Yeah.
Eh? It's very
So,
funny.
so yeah. So that's been really interesting. Uh, there's a few teams that were really doing well last week. The likes of I say Sunrisers that were like flying high for the last four like if you look at 2 weeks
Mm.
back, they were really riding high. They had 5 wins in a row, but they've taken a real
Yeah,
dip
and
now.
they
So
yeah, definitely.
yeah,
Yeah, but it was expected
they
though.
at the moment.
Pardon?
Are you speaking while I'm speaking? That's why we can't hear each other.
Oh,
They're
sorry.
on the wrong table at the moment. So yeah, they got to get back to winning ways. But it's I personally think the third and fourth position is really up for grabs now for anybody who wants to grab and anybody else that desire that that they want to get into that playoff. So yeah, as I said, this weekend is really going to be interesting because there's a lot of teams on the lower half that want to on the top half of the table. So even the team that's number one or number two on the standings really can't take anything for granted at the moment because
Mm, mm, mm,
they're top
mm.
half. So it's really going to be a bit of a helter skelter week to come.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, you just mentioned what I was gonna talk about because even though it should be a technicality, the number one and number two should be tight in the Lucknow, but let's say hypothetically they slip up, you could have a situation where they might end up being third and fourth. So wouldn't that be a bit of a funny story? And then hopefully, I think my team and your team have no choice but to win all the games because although my team has a better net run rate than yours, you all have more points than us. So I think in your case it'll be more about the wins because of net run rate. So I think it's going to be my team has no choice; they have to win every single game. Your team, I think, because of net run rate, have to win every single game to make sure it's pretty much sorted out. Because I think your team has three more matches, that makes it another 6 points. You will be on 18. So technically, I think it's safer for you to win all your matches, and then I think Sunrisers, well, their net run rate is okay, but I think they're missing a few key players, Sunrisers. That's what's screwing them. No Washington Sundar, and then some other players missing. I forget his name, but um, anything you want to add to what I just said?
Yeah, I mean the one about Washington is a bit it's a bit of a surprising one because I don't really think their 5 wins in a row really had much to do with Washington. It probably had more to do with their bowling lineup and their four-man pace attack that's really got Sunrisers to, when they were riding high with those 5 wins in a row. So I think their pace attack has probably been exposed a bit. I think obviously Natarajan is a bit of a loss for them. But not so much Washington. Not so much Washington. I don't think Washington is much of a loss. But I think Natarajan probably a bigger loss for Sunrise than Washington, because I mean he's such a great dead bowler.
No, but Washington is the spin option, and they don't have the spin. And then the pitches are getting low and slow now, so they need a bit of spin option. So I think that's going to mess them up a bit.
Yeah, I think the problem with Sunrise at the moment, they really can't seem to contain teams. There's a lot of teams that are going after their bowlers, so they're obviously conceding these big totals, and it's hard for them to chase it down. They've been a side that's really been banking on their bowlers to win that game. So, as you said, the pitches are wearing now, and the spinners are coming more into it. So I think a team like RCB, with so many spin options, really becomes a dangerous side in these conditions. There's a few teams with those spinning options. CSK as well. I mean, who's to say CSK and Mumbai, after what we saw last night, are not going to spoil a few parties? They definitely can be party poopers.
Yeah, I mentioned that to you on WhatsApp off air. That's kind of funny. And then you put those funny emoticons. Couldn't stop laughing. Yeah. Okay, seriously, let's look at today's matches that are happening at the moment. Punjab are 108 for 2 of nearly 13 overs. You think they're going to post, hopefully, around the 200-plus mark? I think that could be a good challenging score for Rajasthan Royals, because they only chase. All they do is just defend. So it'll be nice to see how Rajasthan Royals chase.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, the one thing you really can't take for granted in this competition is dropping your A game. So I think the last couple of games, Rajasthan, they've been a little bit complacent, and they've allowed teams to get back in, catch up with them in terms of points and stuff. So I think this is a must-win for Rajasthan. And judging by both teams, I think they have the batting to chase whatever score Punjab poses. But Rabada, he's been fantastic for Punjab. He's really come back into his own as a bowler for Punjab. So it's going to be really, really interesting sort of chase this. And if I had to pick a winner, I'd just go with Rajasthan based on their batting ability this year. And I think if they can restrict Punjab to, I'd say, around
180.
75, 180. Yeah, they definitely have a chance. But I think this is a crucial one for Rajasthan if they want to secure that playoff spot, because if they don't, you're going to get a scenario where teams are going to catch up with them and even overtake them.
Yeah, they got 4 more games remaining, so the most they can get to is 20 points, which is unlikely, but you never know with this funny game. And then the funny story is that if they win 3 out of those 4 games, 1 second, 3 out of 4, that's 6. They could get to 18. So, I think 18 is pretty much going to be the magical score at the moment. Although the net run rate is okay, so if they get to 16, it's 2 out of 4. That's 4 points plus the current 12, so... Yeah, I'm a bit conflicted because I like Punjab's more than Rajasthan Royals, but I'm thinking more for my team's benefit now. So I'm thinking if Rajasthan Royals wins, it kind of puts Punjab on 10, and then Kolkata can catch up to them today on 10. But it's so complicated.
Yeah, Punjab has been an inconsistent side. Let's be honest. They've been an inconsistent side from the start of the IPL. Go back to the seasons gone by where they've had players, they've had a squad, but they just haven't, showed it on the field. On paper, even this time they could probably have one of the best sides in competition, but they just haven't showed it. So, but the bowling of Rabada has been quite encouraging lately. But as you say, dreaded run rate thing, and if I'm looking at RCB. If I just have to speak personally, they really have to win all their games. And I think what RCB is probably looking at as well is, obviously you got to get your job done. But if Mumbai and CSK can spoil a few parties, that would be good as well. So at the moment, you got to take it one game at a time.
Definitely.
I can see some upsets. I can really see some upsets
Yeah.
in the remaining games going forward, because I think Mumbai and CSK would want to finish positively
Mm.
and get as much points as they can under their belt, and
Mm. Mm.
use this as a building block for next year. So yeah, it's
Mm.
really going to be tough. I mean, even last night. I mean, if you look at a side like Gujarat, I mean, they could have easily had 20 points by now if they won their last two games.
Yeah.
They lost their last two, so
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
probably exposed themselves to an extent where they have to sort of, it's sort of going to be must-win games now in order for them to like cement. I
Mm.
think they're probably going to win maybe one. I'd say two potentially, just to seal it and seal that top spot, because top spot is very important. So at the
Yeah.
moment, I'm not sure they guarantee top spot.
Yeah.
So things have really changed, and this next week and even this weekend as well is gonna really show us a lot as to where the teams are and what their fates are going to be going forward.
Yeah. Speaking of that, let's just go through these matches quickly. Today is also Lucknow and KKR. I'm gonna go at the heart and say KKR should win because they just need to win. No two ways about it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a must win for KKR. I mean, what do they have? They 8 points. I think if they don't
Let
win
me
this one,
see. Yeah, they got
probably
8 points. Yes, correct. Yeah.
yeah. So
The most
they
they can get
obviously
to is 16 points. Yeah, the most they can get to is 16. So 16 is one of those scores where you still have half a hope of qualifying.
yeah. Funny enough, I'm also going to go for KKR here because I think they need these points, and I think after the last game, they that was a crucial win. So
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
they're probably going to bring their A game today against Lucknow. However, Lucknow are a
Yeah.
good side as well. So
Hmm.
on the KKR, but I mean, if they don't get this one, then it's game over for
Yeah.
them.
Then bye
It's
bye.
game over.
Yeah, definitely. And
Bye
they
bye.
don't deserve to
Yeah.
go
So,
through, and they don't even deserve to go through, even if there were funny mathematics in there. So let's look at tomorrow's doubleheader. Sunrise against RCB. I know your team will want to have revenge for that demolition. I'm sure RCB will play a lot better. And I think it's another must win for your team. So if I'm going to go by that logic, because I'm not a fan of Sunrise as much, I'll back your team to win.
definitely a revenge game. I mean, we know what happened two
Yeah.
weeks. I mean, I don't want to talk too much about that game.
Yeah.
Dusted,
Hmm.
but expect a better
Hmm.
performance from RCB tomorrow. And I think
Hmm.
there's a few players there that need to deliver that owe RCB a few runs. I
Hmm.
think Maxwell is one of them. He needs to come to the party tomorrow. Really needs to make
Yeah.
a big one. And
Hmm.
yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, what's really impressed me is the new players that have come in for RCB. The likes of Lombro,
Hmm.
the likes of Matiga. I think they've added that missing link that definitely was that sort of elevation, to really good scores, decent scores that RCB didn't have in the games prior to that. So, I mean, they were unlucky
Hmm.
against Gujarat, could have went either way. But I think
Hmm.
CSK was quite it was a great performance, especially with the ball. The way they got back into that game was fantastic. So I think with RCB's bowling options, if they can get to about 175, 180, I think they do have the bowling set to really strangle Sunrisers. Because I mean, as you said, wickets are going to be getting tougher. It's going to get much tougher to chase. I mean, we saw last night
Yeah.
what happened. So 175, 180 is potentially a winning score now.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. And if your team win, it gives my team a bit of hope because if Sunrisers win tomorrow and their net run rate is pretty good, then it makes it more complicated for my team. So your team needs to do me a favor in that kind of way. Okay, now seriously, now we got CSK and Daredevil, so I think CSK need to win tomorrow, keep my team in the hunt, sort of thing. Sorry, I know Daredevil is your second favorite team, but desperate time for different measures. Another party pooper team, CSK.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few teams that have impressed me this year. Look, Delhi, a bit of a strange sort of tournament for them, eh? I think they started off so well,
Yeah,
and then they hit
yeah.
rock wall in between, and then they're coming back into it now. Look, that batting is
Mm,
looking good, eh? That batting lineup
mm.
is very
Awesome,
strong.
awesome, awesome. Yeah.
With Warner
Mm,
and Powell has got some runs. I mean, he was simply sensational the other day. I mean, his assault on Malik was something else.
mm.
That final over was really, really great to
Yeah.
watch. My one concern
Mm,
with Delhi is their bowling. I think they leak too many runs. I think they just have this tendency of giving too many boundary balls away. So if I have to look at
mm.
weak Delhi side, I'd say it's their bowling lineup at the moment. I
Okay.
haven't been impressed with Thakur this season. I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah,
he's really showing
yeah.
best
It'd
with the
been
ball.
it'd been
Um,
really expensive. Yeah. Mm,
yeah, I'm just looking at those other bowlers in that lineup. I mean, you got Khalil. I mean,
mm.
he bowled quite well last game, but a little bit inconsistent for my liking. We just haven't had that genuine wicket taker for Delhi. I think they've had the backing. They really have had the backing.
Hmm.
The batting has won them a lot of games, but yeah, even
Hmm.
the last game, I mean, they scored 200 plus, but I think they gave quite a few runs away in those last few overs.
Mm,
Uh,
mm, mm, mm.
uh, yeah, that's my assessment of this Delhi side. I think their bowling is their weakness, and yeah, I mean, CSK. Look, what I really like about CSK is that bowling lineup, that those spinners that they have. They really can turn the screws on teams in those middle overs. I think their opening bowlers are probably not the best that they've had. They've had better opening bowlers in the past for CSK.
Hmm.
But I mean,
Hmm.
the spin department, the likes of, I mean, Shana has been really, really impressive in this edition of the
Yeah.
IPL. I mean, even in the last game,
Yeah.
I mean, although they didn't win it, I think he was their bowler.
Yeah.
He was the standout bowler for
Yeah.
them. And I mean, Moeen
Yeah.
Ali too. I mean, very tricky customer, especially in those middle overs. So if you look at it, I'd say Delhi has the advantage with the bowling. Sorry, with the batting, and then CSK has the advantage with the bowling. So if you put two and two together, I think you get like a 50-50 sort of game. Yes, it's really a tough one to call. But
I'm I'm going to call it CSK because I'm desperate. Oh yeah, it's funny.
yeah, I mean, desperation brings a lot out of a person. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd say the one way CSK can win this game, hey, is if they
If they're
bat
batting
first.
first. Yeah.
If they bat first, and
Correct.
they
Yeah.
can post, if they can post around 180 to say
Hmm.
190, I think they have.
Hmm.
I think they have enough, mate. I think they have enough with that bowling
Hmm.
attack to
Hmm.
restrict Delhi. I think they do have enough, especially night games. Night games are a lot more tricky when it comes to chasing, hey. So it's not sort of like a day game where the conditions really don't change that much, but a night game
Hmm.
is really tricky, and the dew factor and stuff.
Hmm.
It can
Hmm.
have. But I don't think we've had enough. A lot of dew. I don't think we had a lot of dew
Yeah.
so far.
Hmm. It's reduced quite a bit actually. Yeah.
Pitches are probably the
Um.
most and at night in a chase because
Hmm.
they do take a lot of turns. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. So yeah, look, my it's a tough one, eh? My head is saying um,
Delhi.
my head is saying Delhi, but my heart is saying CSK for some reason. I just think
Why would
CSK.
your heart? Why would your heart go with CSK? Your second favorite is Delhi. You would rather be saying your head would go with CSK and the heart would be Delhi.
Well, I
Interesting.
mean,
And this
yeah,
year,
yeah. I mean, really, yeah. I mean, obviously, your I'm just looking at both lineups, and both lineups
hmm.
they cancel each other out in certain departments. The bowling of Delhi hasn't been that good. The batting has been
Although
fantastic.
Notke bowled well though. Notke bowled well in the last match. So I think he's hopefully continue that form. He did quite well in OTK, and then I think Khalil wasn't bad. So I think there's promise for Delhi, and the net run rate is pretty good for Delhi. So I think if they beat Chennai, then yeah, it'll be difficult for my team. But anyway, that's how that cookie crumbles. You look at Monday, it's another party pooper in Mumbai versus my team. So hopefully this party pooper gives my team a break, and then KKR can keep up the winning ways should they win today. And then yeah, that's just my thoughts on that.
Yeah, look, by the time that game takes place, I think we'd probably know the fate of KKR by then. But, I mean, if they're still in the running for it, I expect them to win that game against Mumbai, if they're in the running. Because I think if they don't, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Could be a 50-50. It could be a scrappy sort of game. But if they do win today, you know, they'll have momentum, they'll have confidence, and they'll want to win that game.
Yeah. And then there's the Lucknow Super Giants and Gujarat Titans. Our favorite captain, KL Rahul, against Hardik Pandya, who used to play for Mumbai. I want the Titans to win. They deserve qualification. And also, I'm not really a fan of KL Rahul, but as a captain, that is. But he surprised me a lot. I didn't expect Lucknow to do so well.
Absolutely. I think we didn't expect Gujarat to do this well as well. So, look, Gujarat, interesting. They've been a bit deflated, eh? They've been a bit deflated, losing the last two games. So I think they want to get back to winning ways against Lucknow.
Yeah, I remember they beat Lucknow in the very first game of this competition. It was a thriller. So I think Gujarat only have themselves to blame for being a bit cute, wanting to bat first. Fine, I can understand they wanted to get that experience of batting first. But the second game, they were just slack. They should have won that match against Mumbai. So I think they are to blame for that. But I'm sure they'll beat Lucknow. What's funny?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we are talking about that heart and head thing. I'm also banking on the CSK win tomorrow, because if Delhi wins, I think it's really going to complicate things a lot for my team, because I mean their net runner is pretty good. So I'm hoping for some party poopers tomorrow.
Oh yes, you're right. Daredevils are on 10 points. Your team is on 12 points. So I think RCB plays against Chennai. So, but if your team beats Chennai, then it doesn't really matter much if Daredevils. Oh, no. Sorry. I'm saying if your team beats Sunrisers, then it doesn't matter if Daredevils beats Chennai, because you'll be on 14, technically.
Well, I guess you can't really. I guess you can't really guarantee anything in this competition. So you've got to take it one game at a time. You've got to hope for the best as well. So I mean, I just hope RCB squeak through. And I think you're hoping your team squeaks through as well. So, I mean, looking at this game today, the game that's currently taking place, Rajasthan and Punjab, it's also like a potential quarterfinal if you look at it, because both teams actually need to win to guarantee qualification. So, it's tough, eh? It's really tough at the moment.
There's Rajasthan Royals and Daredevils. This becomes a real complicated one, because if Rajasthan Royals loses since today, then I think they're going to look really desperate, because they'll need to start winning. And then if Daredevils probably beat CSK, then that's where it makes it really exciting. I like Daredevils more than Rajasthan Royals. Although it'll be very funny if Rajasthan Royals don't qualify, considering how well they started. Wouldn't that be the story of the IPL? So I think I'll go with Daredevils, just to be devilish.
Yeah, I think the one criticism you can obviously give to Daredevils this season, I mean, although they've had an up and down season, I think they haven't been that sporting of a side. I mean, we can talk about it over and over again, but they haven't been a very sporting side on the field. So, I mean, you know, it's tough to really gauge these fixtures, predict these fixtures, because I mean, you've got to see what they do today and what teams do this weekend. So it's a tough one, eh? Rajasthan and Daredevils, I think it all depends on how they perform this weekend. And whoever wins the games are going to have momentum, and whoever doesn't is going to be looking for momentum. So, to me, it's a sort of a 50-50 game, eh?
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to put you on 50-50. I was just trying to run through these quickly. I'll just, I'll go through the last two, and the party poopers are playing on Thursday, CSK and Mumbai, and honestly, I find it such a pointless match. I'm gonna go with I honestly don't care who wins it. Sorry, to be honest. Whoever wins, I don't mind. I won't even. I think normally I would say Mumbai to win because Mumbai has always had the confidence against CSK, but Mumbai has been slow. Although I think they're coming up again. I think they're starting to win something. So maybe I'll say Mumbai to win, but I won't be surprised if CSK win again.
Yeah, I think this has been the problem with this sort of format, that you get these sort of, these sort of games because of how teams are seeded. And I understand this. You've got this A versus B sort of sort of situation with the groups and stuff. But I mean, if you have to ask somebody that doesn't watch the IPL much, and and they ask you, what are you talking about? I mean, because if it was Pool A versus Pool B, I mean, you probably have them separated as such. But if you look at the table, it's not really separated and that's such. So a little bit of a pointless fixture for me, I would say. I would think, with Mumbai seeding, they would probably want to play a side that's probably lower in seeding in them. And I think, they probably would rather play RCB. I mean, and I don't think RCB wouldn't mind playing sort of Mumbai, because the way Mumbai played this season, they fancy their chances. So this is a bit of a pointless sort of fixture for me. And I think they have to really look at the way the tournament has been formatted this year. I think it's better if you go back to playing each other twice. I think that gives teams probably a greater chance of qualifying as such, as opposed to this sort of format, which is a bit
confusing.
Yeah, I mean, a bit confusing. A bit confusing, because I think we were so used to, I mean, each franchise playing each other twice. So, I mean, you've got two bites of the cherry, whereas now potentially you've got one bite of the cherry at certain sides, and you've got two bites of the cherry at certain teams. So it is a little bit of a confusing sort of thing. But I mean, it is, eh? But I honestly, I honestly think the older format was much better. However, the problem comes with the number of games that you've got to play. So, I mean, potentially you'll be playing, I'd say 18 games, if I'm not mistaken. 18 games in a season. So, if you had to play each other twice.
Yeah, but I think the only solution to that is just to have a lot of double headers if you're worried about how much time it's going to take. So, and there's nothing wrong with having a lot of double headers. Keeps it exciting, especially for the IPL fans. A lot of IPL to watch. And then let's get to the last one for Friday. Sorry,
it's interesting, hey, because I mean, this is essentially a league phase. This is the league, and when you generally have leagues, if you look at leagues like football leagues and stuff. I mean, minimum 38 games between, I mean, amongst each team has got to play like 38 games, which is home and away. But obviously, it's a bit different here. But look, a league phase is quite long. But I think the benefit of a league phase, it doesn't give anybody an unfair advantage over the other. Meaning, you're going to get your home game, you're going to get your away game, get your home game, get your away game. So potentially there is fairness in that sort of way. So yeah, more double headers would have obviously been the solution. Instead of having one game every sort of weekday and two games during the weekend. I can understand the only reason why they do it is because of spectators. Spectators might be working during the week, and spectators are at home and are off during the weekend. So that's the only reason why. But I think they've got to review this in the future because, I mean, it works for some teams, it doesn't work for some teams, and I think all teams need to have that same advantage. And I think as a team, you try and use that advantage to your disposal, or you don't. So, I mean, you really can't go back to the IPL and say what you were treated unfairly and stuff. But by playing too many teams of that level or this level, so. Yeah, that needs to be reviewed next season.
Yeah, man. Okay, we'll get to the last one for Friday, it's RCB against Punjab, and two teams will still probably be fighting for qualification. That depends on how Punjab do today. So I kind of look forward to it, actually. If Punjab are still hopefully on a good confidence winning streak, I'll go for Punjab on this one.
I think if RCB win tomorrow, I think probably they'll look at that one and they'll look at the first game of the season where they lost to Punjab. And I mean, Punjab at the moment, they're a bit of an inconsistent side. They'd want to fancy their chances against Punjab. And if they win that one, I think they go a long way to qualifying. So I'll give RCB the edge. If they win that one, you're potentially through. If you're looking at how other teams are playing, potentially you're through by then. I'm not saying you are, but potentially you might be through.
Yeah, and what I've noticed is that the league phase only ends on the 22nd of May, and then the playoffs start from the 24th of May onwards. So I think that the last game being on the 22nd of May is Sunrise against Punjab Kings, and that'll be quite a mouth-watering match because that could determine the qualification for that fourth spot. Speaking of this qualification phase, I gave you a link on WhatsApp regarding how Australia do it, where you have 5 teams in potential playoffs. I don't know if you saw the link on WhatsApp. If you did, what were your thoughts on it?
I need to go and have a look at that link. I actually didn't have much time, but I will review that link. But I mean, as I said, they've probably got to change the format going forward next season. More double headers could be the solution. However, they're actually looking at crowds as well, the economic side of it. So, it's going to be interesting. Look, these 2 new teams are not going to go away anytime soon. So I think it all depends on how they perform.
No, they can't go away. Owners have spent too much money. They won't go away.
Yeah, but I don't know if you recall in the earlier days of the IPL, there were these teams that came and just went. There's a few sides like the Pune Warriors and the Cochin Hustlers, and I think it was the Cricket Sharks. I know they did win the IPL one year as well. So I guess you can't rule anything out. I think there's probably 8 established teams. There's probably 8 established teams in the IPL at the moment that's been playing consistently for the last 7 or 8 seasons, and obviously these 2 new sides. But it's going to be interesting to see what they can do. But I do think this format probably needs a bit of a freshening up.
But I know you. To be honest, it doesn't matter if you have double headers during the week, and I'll tell you why. Because of TV rights, they'll make their money anyway. Fine, crowds are good. It's good for the atmosphere, good for advertising in terms of how it looks. But sometimes you could even have double headers on a Friday because that's kind of heading onto the weekend. So there's your solution: have the double headers on for Friday and Saturday and Sunday. Simple. Why complicated?
Absolutely, absolutely. Have your double headers on Friday, so I think you're going to make up quite a few games. If you look at a month, you probably have 4 extra games in a month. And if you look at 2 months, 8 extra games on a Friday, taking into account that, and I think if there's like public holidays and stuff, you can another doubleheader on those days. So there is potential there. So I think they need to review all those avenues and see where they can freshen up this format.
Okay, any final word before we wrap up? I know our chat has been quite extensive, so that's why I was asking if there's anything we should add in.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they just probably have to review this format, next season, because I think it's important for each franchise to play the other twice, because it gives them it gives an opportunity to get points, and I think there's some fairness in that as well. So, I think that's probably the closing points.
Okay, my closing point is that if I look at this table, and I'm going to be a little controversial, I'll put Titans to qualify first, and then I will put. Even though I'm not a fan of KL Rahul as a captain, but I feel his team has played well enough to be there, so I'll put them number 2. And then the next 2 are going to be more on the heart, and more because, I get along with you. So I'll put my team on your team. There, How that?
Absolutely, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. So I think KKR have got to start racking up the points now to get up that table. So look, yeah, let's wait and see. So fantastic cricket to come, and it's going to be a gripping week. I think this week is probably going to determine the fate of a lot of teams.
Or if Lucknow, for some bizarre reason, don't go through, I would like to see either Daredevil or Punjab squeaking in there. But I think it's unlikely, so I think Lucknow will definitely be there. The next two I just said was from the heart, because KKR have to win all the matches, and then your team, I think, will be okay. So I think that's pretty much a wrap.
Okay, I've got my 4 here. So I'm going to go with Gujarat. I think they're well enough to get there. And I think they actually probably just need a win or two more to get through, judging by how the other teams are playing. So I think they deserve to be there. I think the side that really has done a lot for this IPL this year and really has brought the excitement to the IPL has been Rajasthan. So I'm going to put them there. I think they as a side, they've been, I think they've probably been the most exciting franchise in this year's competition, in my opinion, with the run scoring, the wickets, and I've seen a lot of their games. They've probably been the most exciting franchise. So I put playoff spot. And I would go with KKR and RCB with the heart. So those would be my top 4.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's pretty much a wrap. I shall see you on the other side.
Just catch you soon. Take care.